Welcome to the hardest challenge of my life. I have until October 1st of 2025 to send a legendary V10 at my home gym, BPUMP Tokyo. Why October 1st? It's the day my visa expires and I get kicked out of Japan. But maybe if I send a V10, they'll let me stay a little bit more. During my first year in Japan, my climbing went through an incredible transformation, but I had to leave. Now I'm back with a new visa, but my climbing is back to square one.
Welcome back.
The difference is, this time I know what to do. My plan has 3 phases. The first one is to send my previous highest grade, brown tape. Last time it took me almost 8 months. This is day 1, hour 0. So this was my first day back in Japan. I didn't feel great, to be honest. There was a bunch of stress in the moving period. I didn't sleep much, but I was so glad to be back at my home gym. I saw all my friends, and it was a little bit humiliating to say that I wasn't climbing as hard as I was, but it's gonna be an interesting story to get back to where I was and finally get a V10 at this incredible gym. So I started the session with my warm-up. I already made a video about that if anyone wants to watch it. We started with this coordination boulder. It wasn't too hard, but there was a slopey hand that was horrible, so it was all about setting the feet right and pushing to the side. I'm really glad my mobility has improved lately, so this match to the top is something I would have never been able to do. I'm also going to be putting the difficulty of each climb at the bottom left corner. I'm going to use the Japanese system since it doesn't feel equal to the V scale. So I'm going to make a whole new video about grades. So the rules are I have to send a V10 before my visa expires, and the V10 has to be at BPUMP Tokyo. Even if I get a V10 at another gym, there's also easier gyms in Japan, it's not valid. It has to be at my gym. Instead of calling it V10, I want it to be Ni Dan, so 2D. And everyone, the setters, my friends, we all have to be like, yeah, that's a solid 2D. I hope I can get it. It gets into a pretty hard territory at that stage. There's pros that climb those grades down here, so it would be pretty amazing to be able to get one of those. As you can see, I'm mostly doing 4Q, which is 4Q. Some of the easier grades, it's the beginning of what we call the intermediate level. Like whenever there's a free dojo, the intermediate starts with this color. I would say after 4Q, so 4Q, climbing starts to get very interesting. Like you can fall here even if you're strong, like if you're not paying attention, you can slip. Of course, there's easier climbs and harder climbs, but this is where it gets fun. Talking to a bunch of Americans, they told me that for them, this tape was around V6, V7 at their gyms, but over here it's supposed to be V3. That's not why I don't usually say the B scale. I just like to use the Japanese one. And I hope you guys kind of get used to it. But I'll always help you out and put it down on the left corner. This pink one was horrible. I hate these holds. They hurt my fingers a lot. So I didn't do too much of it. And as you can see, I just do a ton of different ones. My objective for this session was not to go all out. It was my first day. I wasn't feeling too good about my climbing, just getting back into it and the different style that BPUMP has to offer. So here I think I overcooked it a little too much on the beta. It was a long route, my foot slipped. I just should have moved a little bit faster. And when I kind of get the send, yeah, I put my camera a little too far away because it didn't fit, and I got it. And there was someone blocking it. Just as a reference, basically this difficulty used to be my warm-up grade, like the end of my warm-up. This blue tape and white tape, I could, if it wasn't a slab, I could basically flash or do every single one. But now they all feel kind of hard. I've been talking to a bunch of people and they told me that in these 3 months, the difficulty level has gotten a little bit higher. Usually grades get a little bit higher closer to competitions and stuff like that. Since they don't make up new tape colors, the grades, like people's climbing, just keeps on improving, so it gets a little bit harder every single tape. So this is going to be kind of the highlight of the day. I saw this white tape, so thank you, and it didn't look too bad. It was just a little bit of coordination and a dyno, and then just fitting into a kind of small box for the top. I thought it was going to go. It took way more tries than it should have, but I got the timing down, and I'm happy to send at least one white tape on my first day. It feels very similar to my start last year, where on my first session I actually got one white tape, so we're back to square one. I just bought a new microphone in order to improve the quality of the videos, but it was a tough call to decide whether I was going to eat this month or get the new mic. That's why I'm glad to say that this video is sponsored by warm tap water. By drinking warm tap water, I can save up to $30 a month, which means that I'll finish paying the mic by the day my visa expires. Why drink anything else? It's odorless, tasteless, and has over 500 times more protein than chicken. It hits just right after a hot summer day. Then I went downstairs and tried another white tape that turned into a light blue tape, a little bit harder, but it was way too hard for me, and instead of losing skin, I just went on climbing easier stuff. Remember that my objective for this session is just to get in a lot of moderate volume, not doing 100%, trying boulders out, trying to remember what it feels like to climb this type of style. Over here I do this white tape with slopey holds. Usually that's my style, but I didn't read it right and it felt really hard, and when I fall it kind of hurts my elbow. I still have some tendonitis going on. I didn't fix it completely. After the competition and everything, the pain came back, so yeah, gotta watch out with that. Here I try a really interesting white tape that you have to just control the swing and get it, and I thought it was way too bad, but it seems that's the only beta. So heel hook real high, get kind of close, and then just kick into the wall, stop it, and then pull up. I almost get the top, but my weak fingers can't take the crimp, and I had to lower my hips, but that was the last try of the day. So this was 2 days later. Same thing, just trying new stuff, and let's see what this session, how far I can make it. I was already feeling a little bit better, a little more confident. I was still moving in, so I didn't have a fridge or even AC, to be honest, so I was sleeping very bad. It's like 40 degrees outside, 40 Celsius, it's like 100 Fahrenheit, I think. So like very hot and very humid in Japan, so it wasn't great. But yeah, slowly but surely getting back into it. Everything was feeling a little more like it used to. Of course, I'm not at the same level as before, but I try another white tape and my fingers give out on me again. I think I just should have sent it to the pocket, but I overcooked the beta. Then I tried this white tape that actually suited my style a lot, and I end up flashing it, which was pretty good news. Like, getting a white tape nowadays feels like a good session. Then I try another white tape on the roof. This is the same roof where I sent my first brown tape, which is V8, V9 at this gym. It's pretty fun. This black wall with LED lights is the 3rd floor. Usually this is a little bit easier on the grading. It's a little more about strength. And I get reminded that I'm not used to it.
Welcome back.
I tried again. I do like a scissor with, I get a heel and then a toe hook on the other one. My heel slips, but makes the foot cut much lighter, and I hold on to it. So I get it second try, pretty happy. And then I kind of aim up a little higher. I try the crux on this black holded NIKU. So light blue tape, it's one tape higher than white. I think this is V5 it's supposed to be, but it was kind of tricky. Like the balance was horrible, so you had to get it just right. And doing the bicycle was huge on this boulder. So I tried the beta. I think I got it in like 3 or 4 tries, but it was really bad. Like if your feet cut, you were off the sloper. I didn't get too much footage of that, so. They were all very bad. Look at my foot right there, just keeping everything in. My feet, I was so scared to move. It was like very, very, very slow and controlled. Drop your hips as much as possible. And then here, right foot just on the perfect edge on the side and jump to the top. And a little bicycle to make it easier to match. I get kind of on a high horse and think I can send light blue tapes. I look at this pink one. It's pretty my style, but there's one like 180 flip move that looked pretty cool. I saw someone do it and I wanted to copy them, but I get shut down immediately. I don't want to hurt my fingers, so I look at it and hold it, and it felt horrible. So I went down to the first floor and try to do another NIKU. This is pretty my style. Slopers, faraway moves, like having a little more compression strength. It's pretty fun, but this last hold before the top is horrible. And it's either the middle or the top, and you have to get in this really small box and frog the hold below, but it's horrible. So I just went on to the one beside it, which is a very interesting move. If you're taller, you should try to do the coordination beta, but it was pretty bad. And if you're shorter, you can just get the toe hook from the beginning. And the move after that is not any easier. So I tried it for a while and nothing seems to work. So I just end up going back to the third floor. This is gonna be a recurring theme, just changing floors whenever something feels kind of stuck. And I can't even get the start on this white tape. Remember, this used to be kind of like my warm-up grade, so it feels very humbling to get back to this. I try this Yonkyu, the blue tape. It's very fingery, very like outside rock style, and pretty fun. My fingers were aching a little bit, but trying to do as much as I can with my feet to get the pressure off. And I get a top. Then I go to another spot on the third floor to do another white tape. And this is pretty my style, like faraway moves. I'm considered tall here in Japan. I'm not very tall. I'm literally like the world's average, but here I'm considered tall, so I can reach a lot of holds. And yeah, it's kind of physical climbing. That's the best thing I can do. Then I try the light blue tape right by it, and the first move was heinous. It was the crux, and I just could not hold it. But I tried the rest just to see what's up. Very powerful moves. And I kind of get lost here because I'm not sure what way I should be facing. But I kind of figure out my way around, and the top is pretty interesting also because it's a sloper under the roof. So you have to find like the tension on the feet to be able to stay on, which I don't. So remember I said I don't have AC and it's 40 degrees outside, and I don't want to be in my new apartment until I get anything that cools me down. I have a fan to sleep at night, but during the day it's horrible. I didn't have work this day, so I just went to the gym again. It's been like my third day in 3 or 4 days. And yeah, I'm not climbing great, but I see my grades improving a little bit every single day. Not because I'm climbing any better, but mostly because I'm getting used to it, I think. Also, this session, I see a friend of mine, Hayato. He is a root setter at BPUMP, and he was telling me I could flash this one, which is the one I dropped the other day. So this time he's cheering for me in the back, and I get a flash of it like as my 5th boulder of the day or something like that. So it is kind of good to have someone screaming at you in the background to just do it. He was laughing at me that I got much weaker since I left. And then, okay, I kind of went balls here. I just looked at brown tape, that's coordination. I saw a video of Kokoro Fuji sending it, and I wanted to copy him. So I gave it a few tries, but yeah, I'm not gonna do that one. There's gonna be a video in the future of me trying it out a lot with a friend. So yeah, just wait for that. I do some slabs. I come to the white tape. White tape slab is usually kind of like my limit. This was an easier one, but wanted to practice different angles and learn about my feet again, like hips, positioning, and this was pretty fun. But yeah, I think this is one of those problems where having a longer arm span is much easier. I saw a little kid doing this and it was crazy. He was like 7 years old, and yeah, he couldn't reach those holds, so he found like an incredible way to top it. So yeah, gotta learn from everyone. Then again, Hayato was pushing me, and he was like, yeah, it's okay, these crimps are great. They're great, they're great. I don't like crimps a lot, even though that's the name of the channel. But yeah, he's pushing me to do it. He thought I was gonna flash it again. Not gonna happen. Not the me from right now, at least. Give me a few more months. So he tells me to change my beta a little bit. I try it out, much better, but I don't want to swap my feet. Then I try this coordination white tape, pretty fun. Something I do that I don't see many people try is to break down the move from different holds or just from the ground. I do this especially like on coordination stuff. I'm not great at it, so I just can't do it from the send. And once I kind of get the feeling of it, it's much easier to do it from the right hold. I kind of stole this from Adam Andra. He actually has root setters move holds for him. So I kind of took that idea and made it for myself. Then on the 10th, I had a session with a friend of mine. We tried that brown tape. There's gonna be a video just about that session, so watch it. Then on the 12th, I started with this blue tape, very my style, just using my wingspan, and they're big holds, so it's all okay. There's only like one crimp, which was that one, that's not too bad. And then I try another white tape on the competition roof, which is usually where the hardest grades are set, I would say. So this pink one is a sloper on the right hand and the foot is not great. I'm trying to heel hook on the left and get the toe on the right. And it's kind of hard to match. I would say this is the crux. It's very easy to touch the floor, especially if you're taller. I end up getting the heel and the toe. That helps me control the swing. And after that, it's not too hard. So yeah, just nice climbing using heels. Trying to do as much as I can with straight arms because I don't have any stamina. And yeah, just I feel my climbing's improving a lot now. Like the movement feels a lot more fluid. That's a great drop knee. The feet are almost non-existent. So this slab is part of the intermediate dojo, which is every single week, it's free. I'll make a whole guide about the gym afterwards. And my friend Hayato is the one who sets these problems. So blue tape is the easiest one in the intermediate, but usually his slabs are crazy. So like if you can do the blue tape one, it doesn't mean you can do the white tape one. It's like there's a huge abyss between each grade.
I get the blue tape one, but the white tape one, I spent the whole session, and well, you'll see, but it's pretty hard. There's like horrible crimps. The feet, you can't even see them almost, and the balance is just so hard to get. I try it from every single side. I swap my shoes for better edging instead of like softer ones, and yeah, it's pretty tough. So I kind of get my beta down and try different stuff, but my fingers are hurting a lot. These crimps are horrible, and I'm barely holding on. I want to get a left foot high up here, but I can't make space, and it feels like so compressed you just fall off. So I tried from different holds, and that right hand is non-existent. So I just kind of give up on that beta and see there's different people trying different things. But I never saw a top that day, so even though I tried hard, there was nothing I could do. I went back to some easier sloper ones just to get my fingers back, and then I go back to the roof to try this blue tape, and I thought this was gonna be an easy flash. The holds are great. I kind of faffed around, and I realized I misread the beta so hard. It was like a very easy climb. It's just about reading, and I feel that's a recurring theme here at BPUMP. If at least for me, it feels that there's a secret to every single climb. Like if you know what to do, and that could be like very minute details, but it's mostly up until like light blue tape, it's mostly, I would say, technique, not much strength involved. And yeah, it's really important to find like the secret for each move. So then I try this light blue tape. I see someone trying, and it felt kind of like my style, so I get through it, and I was surprised. I almost dropped the undercling because it was very bad, and you can tell this is my first try because I try to get the hold, but it's so horrible, so I go back down. And this top, I wanted to match, but it felt disgusting, and I try to use my thumb, but I can't, and kind of strength through it. So I get my first light blue tape flash in a while, so that was good. And I try this orange tape on the side just to get humbled again. But I'm pretty happy I sent a light blue. Whenever I send a light blue, it's a good session already. And yeah, using the bolt hold and everything, it was a little too much. So going down to where I deserve to be right now, white tapes. And this is one of those that's very my style. So it's like slopers and faraway moves, which is usually just using my natural born gifts. But my friend here, I couldn't get through the first move, but my friend explains I have to put my heel. And how slow can you be that someone tells you what to do and you keep on doing the same thing? Then I use my heel, it works, I go down, and I go for the right hand, and boom, slip. It was a really bad hand, but then I kind of try it from the middle, and I understand that everything is okay. He told me that the crux is at the top, but this felt very easy compared to the bottom. So I just give it a try, remember the heel, hand, drop the hips, and everything seems pretty chill here. My left hand, I get it very high up, which is much easier for the right hand. Left foot high up, same thing here. And then it's just smooth sailing from here.
Oh, nice.
Right hand, and just match the top. A little bit of a weird position for the top, but very easy. And this boulder, my friend told me I could flash it, and I thought I was not gonna flash it because I don't know, I just don't feel very strong these days. Like, I don't feel my climbing's great, but it was very my style. Big slopers, big moves. And I flash it, and it was pretty easy. And I literally tell him, like, you know me better than I do. So he tries it too, and he climbs much better than me. Like, I would love to climb with his style. He is very good with hips, I feel. So I have a lot to learn from him. And I think that's also a thing, like everyone that climbs here has their own style, very defined style, and there's so much you can learn from how they move. And he gets a top. So I try the light blue tape on the side, which also seems something I would have loved back then. So I want to give it a try, even though it doesn't feel very possible right now. And I surprised myself because I get through the beginning sequence that looked pretty hard, and I get to the crux, and I miss it because I do the left hand instead of the right.
違えた。いや、いい、合ってる合ってる。マッチして右にする人いる。マジ？マッチして右にして。
So I give it a try from the middle, and I try to do the match sequence he tells me to. So just match on the crimp, which isn't great. Right hand on the side pull, push and get the sloper. I get it, and then I'm a little too tired to do what I have to do, swap my feet. So we go back to the slab since my friend Matsun is great at slabs, and we both try it but don't get much through it. So as a last climb, I go and do a white tape on the side of the competition wall. And the roof here is pretty laid back, as you can see. This is very my style, like far away moves, just using toe hooks and stuff to kind of keep your center of gravity where it has to be. But I was really tired after the session, and I climbed like 4 or 5 times in 1 week. So it was like, I wasn't used to that for sure. I was only in Philippines. I was climbing like 2 times a week and my right hand gives up. So yeah, that was a pretty fun session.